Hello and welcome to the Disconnected Gamers podcast, where we reconnect with life and gaming. Continuation from the episode, the episode you might have just listened to, episode 89, part 2, or episode 90 to be determined. Um,
Do
it is Monday, November 27th. Yesterday was Sunday, November 26th. We were talking about Black Friday deals. I got dragged into something that I had to take care of. I am now back. Equally got dragged into stuff today, but whatever. Um, spare tires ratcheted onto the back of the truck tonight, so we're good.
noise.
Yeah. It like so and we'll derail with this. We'll start with this fun story. The truck
It's a
had
real
a
talk.
the truck had a flat tire,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't have I didn't have a pump. Of all
Ooh,
things that I didn't have, like I knew I had a pump at home. My brother had a pump, but not in his car, and I normally keep one in the car, but I didn't have it. So I'm
just for
like,
emergencies.
yeah. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, fine. We'll just change the fucking spare tire, and we'll put the spare on.
Mm-hmm.
Except it has a safety catch so that the tire can't just fall off the back of the truck.
Right.
Except it's so rusted that it won't release. So the tire's just hanging like six
Ooh.
inches off, and it wobbles like it wobbles while you drive. But like it's not going
Ooh.
anywhere. Like it's
Right, right, right.
rusted. It's basically rusted onto the truck. Um,
Ooh.
and so I've been like trying to figure out like how I can get it off. I'm like hitting it with hammers, whatever. Watched a couple YouTube videos, but like I think it's just rusted so stuck, it isn't going
Oh.
anywhere. But the guy had prepped it by ratcheting the tire back up to the frame, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, he's got something going there. He's got, that's an idea. I can do that. So I tried what his video suggested, basically like you put the tire up all the way so that you can like get at the piece that
Ah.
stuck to free it, but even
Mm-hmm.
then I couldn't free it, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. But the ratchet, I was like, is holding the tire up, so who cares?
Mm-hmm.
It's pressed up against the vehicle, so people behind me don't have to think that I'm about to drop a fucking
Tire on them.
truck tire on them while I'm driving away. Uh,
Right.
so
It's like a
that was
car in real life.
yeah, that was exactly right. It's no green shell, motherfucker. That's a Bridgestone. Um,
Blue shell, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly, right? So that was today, which was interesting. But so we'll move past Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I didn't see, sadly, any deals on the headset that I was looking for. I was looking for that Steel Series.
Uh-huh.
It must be too new that they're not discounting it, because like the other
Eh.
models, there were other models discounted, but I want that
So wait,
one that works with the
is the
Switch.
one is that one specifically for Switch or it just works with the Switch?
It's not, well, I mean, it's marketed as a Switch headset. It works with
Oh, okay. So then
it
that's
works.
why then Nintendo was like, nah, 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 nah.
No, I think it's so new. I think Steel Series must have just come out with it, and it's probably
Oh,
why
gotcha.
they're not discounting it. Cuz like some of their like really really nice ones were discounted, like $75 off, but
Oh, okay.
I don't want that one.
Right, right, right.
I like the ability of there's two, and like the shitty thing is there's two Arctis 3 models. There's like
Mhm.
the regular one, and then there's the Bluetooth one, and I want the Bluetooth one because
Bluetooth.
it allows you to plug the wired cable into the Switch and then Bluetooth the headset to your phone for like Discord or the Splatoon chat app or whatever, or in
Mhm.
my thought process, music. Like I could just play music from my phone to the headset while playing a game and get the best of both worlds. Or like a
True.
podcast or whatever. Um,
Mhm.
but that one is like $130, and for what it's worth, it's probably worth the price. So I'm
Right,
probably just gonna have to buy it. I was just kind of hoping, but I mean, the Sony one
right,
that I'm
yeah.
using right now, aside from falling off my head because the plastic broke, so it has nothing to keep it um like secure to my head anymore,
Mhm.
sucks, but like the headset itself works fine. Like the audio's fine, there's
Yeah,
nothing
if it
wrong
still
with it.
works, you know.
I
Right,
just but part of me is kind of like, man, that Switch headset, is pretty sweet. I like the idea. I like the concept.
right. Digging it. I'm digging it.
Anyways, and then I bought some other just non-gaming related stuff for Cyber Monday, but The other topic that we
Yes.
were going to talk about was Destiny 2. And
Oh yes.
yeah, so you wanted to talk about the whole XP thing or just in general, or what were you?
The XP. Oh yeah, the XP thing and how I mean I didn't even think about it. So I don't have the article on hand, but apparently what I read on Reddit is there were some gamers that like looked into it and like paid attention to how the XP bar worked. So like how it works is, you get the normal XP gain, but if you farm events, it goes slower and slower every time. So you're getting less XP doing it that way. And then uh pretty much gamer they called Bungie out and like, hey, like this is not how you should be doing this. Like you should be giving us the same XP gain no matter what we do. And Bungie was like, no, yeah, we looked into it. You guys are right. We're basically throttling XP. And like, okay, well, we're gonna rehash it. We're gonna redo the whole system. That way, it's fair for you guys.
Right.
But people are still like, that's kind of unacceptable. Like, if you knew you were doing it, then you kind of should have, stopped.
Or, in my opinion, just been more transparent about it. Like if
Yeah,
you
right.
and if you like basically
Or just told us, hey,
right,
if you farm events, you're gonna get less XP. So don't,
right.
you know.
And so I went and I Googled a little bit, and so artstechnica.com had a article that was actually, this one was published today, and it just
Mhm.
says Destiny 2 misrepresented XP gains to its player until the devs got caught. Over the Thanksgiving weekend, the largest Destiny related Reddit community exploded with data that seemed to confirm an unadvertised limitation in the game Destiny 2. According to fan analysts, players of the always online shooting game suffered from drops in experience point XP gain, depending on what modes they played and for how long, without any in game notice. This revelation was promptly followed by the game's developer Bungie confirming the discovery as accurate and promising a fix. But this fix was coupled with another unannounced change, a flat across the board reduction in XP gains for all Destiny 2 activities. Bungie only confirmed that decision after fans pointed it out. So apparently, yes, you were right. If you grinded public events, you got less XP over time, but I guess it scaled differently depending on what you were doing.
Mhm. Yep.
Which is kind of BS because as a person who
Yeah.
doesn't like as a person who doesn't have the ability to raid or really doesn't enjoy getting smashed around in Crucible, running
Hmm.
public events and missions is like the only thing I have. So now you're telling me the one thing that I'm
Right.
trying
Right.
to do to gain an edge is actually I'm getting punished for that?
Yeah. Right. Like that's nah, unacceptable.
Yeah. So
Unacceptable.
this there's like a whole bar graph. The yellow line is the biggie. This explains how much XP has been lost between what's advertised and what's actually been earned. Cumulative DIM XP. I don't know what that means. Um, with stopwatch in hand, a user named Energizer X tracked the modes he played, keeping an eye on any shifts in XP gain over time. He put enough data together to confirm those suspicions. The XP gained in certain modes would shrink with each repetition. Worse, the game gave no indication of these diminishing returns. The XP gain numbers that popped up above the game's XP bar didn't reflect the game's hidden scaling system, thus, there was no way for a player to accurately calculate how their XP gain had been affected or scaled without going through his exhaustive process. Um, Posted to Reddit, calls for developer response. Community received on Saturday. Bungie confirmed its use of an XP scaler. That's in quotes because that's obviously not a technical term.
Hmm.
Added that it was not performing the way we'd like it to. So they removed it and then changed it. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
But this patch, another unannounced shit. I mean, this whole article basically is just saying, like, this is not cool. It
Hmm.
talks about the whole thing. I'm going to link it because this is actually really, there's a lot of information here to digest. But right here, fan outcry to this system has mostly hinged on the lack of transparency from the developer, with the game neither
Hmm.
displaying correct XP amounts while scaling was active, nor officially guiding players to play better gaining modes. Other players have pointed to official paid promotions like Bungie and Activision's promotional deal with the snack food Pop Tarts, which offered double XP gains in exchange for buying their food. Did I technically get the 25% XP boost? Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so this person's
Mm-hmm.
saying, like, did I actually get the XP boost? But if the scaling mechanic was public knowledge before the Pop Tarts event, would you have spent your money on Pop Tarts because you probably would have gotten you would have got a 25% boost, but you would have been it would have been scaling down as you
Scale
played.
down.
So you
Mm-hmm.
paid to get XP that you didn't actually really get.
Correct. Which bullshit.
That's no
Yeah,
good. That is no
yeah,
good.
not good at all. I mean, it's
Um,
good that people are able to call them out, like, hey, like fix it, or at least let us know what's up. And for the most part, they're like, yeah, we messed up, our bad. Here's what we're gonna do.
yeah,
I
that's
mean, it sucks that it has to go to that point, though. But I mean, as long as they acknowledge it and you know do something.
I guess I guess my problem is it doesn't help Bungie's cause when like people are already kind of unhappy with the game anyways. I mean, and I know that people have said if you look at the time D1 release to the first expansion and D2 to the first expansion is the same amount of time, it's just super disappointing that I think there wasn't a whole lot of end game content thought process. And I guess what my problem is why did they think that XP scaling was a good idea? Like what was the driving factor for them to be like, let's limit how much XP you can earn? Cuz like the
Right.
benefit the benefit of me farming public events is tokens and maybe getting bright engrams after a
Ingrams.
while. And like
Yeah.
realistically, you can't get anything game breaking out of a bright engram anyways, so
Right. True.
what were you like preventing me from doing?
I mean, I guess here's the thing I see it is, if people want to get these bright engrams and get some of these emotes, it's going to turn into, oh, this is going to take too long. I'm just going to spend money for silver and buy bright engrams. So I guess in turn it turns into, oh, okay, let's turn to the microtransactions, which
Right.
I mean, I doubt that's the case, but I mean, that's one way for Activision to be like, hey, push them towards buying silver, push them towards buying silver. So
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. That's one. I guess it's another theory to go off of whether they want
Yeah.
whether they want to say it or not.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm going through another article from Kotaku. This one's Jason Schreier. And the tagline is as Destiny 2 players rage, Bungie struggles to respond. And it just talks about the as quoting here, the sketchiness of the experience system has frustrated players, and just
Mm-hmm.
their Bungie's unwillingness to address the complaints. For what it's worth, I've definitely seen a lot of the people that I normally follow on Twitter in the Destiny community with not positive things to say. Um,
Right.
I
And
would
those,
confidently say that more people I know are not super happy with Destiny 2 versus the same time, D1 launched a few years
mhm.
ago.
Right.
Um, I never play Iron Banner, but I know a ton of people are really, really not happy about the way Iron Banner's working, and I honestly have no idea why. I'm just going to trust them that these are people I know that play the game a lot, and if they're not happy with the way it's working, there's probably something
Right,
there.
yeah. Because from a competitive standpoint, you want it to work a specific way, especially when it comes to earning loot and all that, and like
Yeah, and
earning gear and all.
I
Yeah.
imagine that's probably the crux of it. Like, because even if you look at what's going on with like Trials of Osiris, like the benefit to the clan thing is that I thankfully never had to do a whole lot to get certain engrams. Like
Bingo.
we get the raid engram as long as our clan does the raid. We get the trials engram as long as our clan is in the trial, which allowed me to luck out and get a few different weapons that I wasn't expecting to get because
Yeah,
I had
exactly.
engram. And like that's a nice bonus for me. But if my friends are the ones doing all this work and they're like, this is such a waste of time, I'm not going to do it anymore. Like, one, I lose that secondary extra benefit, and
True.
they don't get to play and enjoy the game that they bought.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Um, oh, this is
Well,
interesting. So
that.
this I'm reading. This is still I'm still like skimming this Kotaku article, and so this I'm just gonna read this one paragraph. Of course, we've been here before. Since Destiny's launch in September 2014, the veteran development studio has seemed unwilling or unable to be transparent with fans. And then in parentheses, it says, from what I hear, the company remains unwilling or unable to be transparent with many of its own employees, too. End parentheses.
Hmm.
Interesting to
Okay.
note. As Destiny went through its ups and downs, Bungie never stopped obfuscating, doing its best to keep even the most basic mechanics as opaque as possible, sticking with marketing plans full of smarmy teases and drip feed PR streams.
Hmm.
It's interesting that he notes, like he says, from what he hears, the company remains to be transparent with its own employees too, because that totally can, you know, I'm not gonna really dig into that too much, but that's kind of a bummer if even some of the employees are, speaking
Mm-hmm.
probably in private, basically being like, "Yeah, it sucks." It
Yeah.
just
No.
doesn't sound good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I have no doubt in my mind that Bungie is going to be around for the long haul, and they've definitely got the money thing on their side. I think
Mhm.
it once you kind of lose that shift in consumer confidence and the gamers wanting to play your game, what do you do? You know,
Yeah.
because like for what it's worth, I
It's
haven't played Destiny in a while. I've been playing Mario and I've been playing,
yeah,
um,
I've been on the Switch a lot too.
yeah, I've just been more on the Switch because it's easier for me to play when I'm kind of just putzing around.
Yep. Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, I do want to play more Destiny, but everyone's busy, or or just no one wants to play it.
Right.
Is what it's turning into. But it is what it is. Something I hope they change for when the DLC comes out next week. Is
Right.
it December 1st or December 12th?
It's like the first week of December. I don't know the exact.
So sometime next week we'll find out. See what they decide to do.
Right. Hopefully they
Yeah,
make the right decision.
we'll see.
Don't do me dirty.
We will see. Because if there's no changes, then obviously we're going to see a huge drop in numbers, not just because of the XP thing, but just because
I think a lot of people
it's
are
going
just
to
going to
turn
be
into
tired of
that.
getting dicked around.
Yeah, right. Or it's going to be a whole year one thing where terrible, 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 and then the Tooken King and whatever the other ones come out. People are like, oh, okay, Destiny's fun again. Turns into
That's
that
true. That's true.
where they're going to change the system to where it works, where players like, oh, okay, this is how it should have been. It's probably going to be like that again. I can see that kind of change just to push the gamers back in and the veterans and bring in newcomers.
Right.
But we'll
I
see.
wonder what's how it's affected the like primarily Destiny streamers, and for my own due diligence I should really just reach out to some of them and be like, "Yo, what's the deal? Like
How do you feel
like how
about
do you feel about this, because I don't rely on this as a source of income. I,
it? Hmm.
am not a Destiny streamer. Like I'd be curious to have like a conversation with some of the people I know and just be like, what do you really feel? Like do you feel like Bungie is trying to help support you as you kind of basically allow them to continue to make money, cuz like much as a streamer makes their living off of a game, the developer
Hmm.
makes some form of income off of that streamer from constantly giving their game press and bringing other
Right.
people into the fold in a way that they just probably never could. So
Hmm.
I am always curious how that kind of relationship works,
Same. Same.
but I don't know.
Mm. Yeah.
I
Is
don't know,
what it
man.
is.
That is exactly it. So I don't know, man. That was it. That's probably all I'll say about it. I mean,
Yeah, no,
I've
yeah,
had mixed feelings about Destiny pretty much since it came out because I just feel like it's more of the same. I know that a lot of people think it's like hugely different, but like
right,
it's hard for me to be like, yeah, it's so different when I feel like I'm in the exact same
mhm,
spot that I was with Destiny 2. I mean Destiny 1.
right.
Like
This,
it looks better, you know? It
right,
plays a little bit smoother and it looks better, but like really what more is different, you know?
right.
You've
Yeah,
redisguised or
redesigned it,
yeah, but
disguised it.
like
Yeah,
you've changed my patrol missions to be different things, but they're effectively the same.
same, right.
Um
I mean, I had the same fun we had the first time, like with D1 before the changes. I had fun like that again.
right.
But I mean, yeah, now that there's like not much else to do unless you find a raid group, then yeah, it's that same repeating cycle of great. Let's do the same 5 patrol missions and the same whatever adventures and lost sectors or whatever, over and over and over just to get like 2 pieces of blue gear that you can't even infuse.
Right.
So there's a
I
lot of
don't know.
changes they need to remake and rehash and whatever.
Yep. So that's
Yeah.
that. That's Destiny 2. What there was another thing you wanted to talk about and I can't remember what it was.
Oh, okay. So EA and Battlefront 2.
Okay.
Star Wars Battlefront 2. So the whole no one likes microtransactions, and I'm pretty sure we talked about that before.
Yep.
But with this one, so of course people were pissed off about the loot boxes and how it's pay to win. But then they came around and were like, "Oh, okay, we hear you," and like, "Okay, well, we're just gonna make everything cheaper, and then do it this way."
But and didn't they for like a short period of time, didn't they just remove all of that altogether? Like they took it all out of the
Oh
game
yeah,
or whatever.
oh yeah. Now they did after even more backlash from fans
Okay.
and like low sales. They're okay. We're gonna suspend microtransactions for now, and you can earn everything in game. But people still are like, no, it's unexcusable. We're still not buying the game.
Mhm.
So now people are basically they want EA to be blacklisted. Like they don't want EA to have the Star Wars license anymore. I mean, they don't want EA around anymore in general because people are sick of it with FIFA and Madden, whatever their packs are called,
Mhm.
like the Ultimate Team. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about was the stupid microtransactions again.
Oh,
And how
microtransactions.
uh, like I don't get how you think it's a good idea and it's going to work, but then you hear the feedback and get all the backlash and you're like, "Oh, okay, maybe it's not going to work." And then you like still kind of weasel your way out of it, but still you're like, "No, we're going to bring it back eventually." Because I think one article said it's a temporary suspend.
Yeah.
So
So
which means they're going to rework it. They're bringing them back, but
oh
they're going
yeah,
to rework.
microtransactions are
So it's
definitely coming
yeah.
back.
So it's
I was
yeah.
quickly reading this, and you talking about it jogged my memory because I had some conversations with coworkers at work. I have one coworker who said, "Not buying it at all. Fuck
Mhm.
you. Like
People saying,
don't microtransaction the hell out of a game that I want." And
mhm.
I literally was just like, I'm like, "Can you not play and earn it?" And they were like, "Yeah, but allegedly it's." I think he said like 40 hours is what it
"Oh
takes to
no,
like earn a
like
character.
2,458 hours or something like that if you want to get a lot of stuff."
Well, that's crazy. Um, and so I was
Yeah.
like, and I was like, okay. And then I had another coworker who was like, I don't like microtransactions, but I'm an adult and I'm just not going to buy them. But he said he was like,
Yeah, you
but
vote with
he's
your
like, but
wallet, but
well, he vote exactly vote with your wallet. But his other response was, but I'm an adult who has a disposable income as opposed to young
so it doesn't
kids
really.
who as well just as opposed to young kids who have a disposable amount of time where like
Mm-hmm.
they can take the time to level up and earn a character, where
Mm-hmm.
he was
It's
like,
true.
I can't. So if I can pay to get the character that I want, and then I can play as that character, awesome. I
Right.
would be willing to do that up to a certain point. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's, to me, the global like stepping back from the big picture of Star Wars and saying if that were the kind of draw, then great.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like, because I don't know enough about Battlefront, I never played the first one. I obviously haven't played the second one. The characters seem to have pros and cons to them that make them more effective than other characters, which then it looks like it's a pay to play, a pay to win, because if you buy the
Yeah.
character that's better up front and you're playing as
Mm-hmm.
that character, then yeah. I mean, I guess I don't know enough about either of the two games, because I never played the first one, so like I don't like. Can you explain to me what the game? This sounds really dumb, but like, can you explain to me
Mm-hmm.
what Battlefront 2 is? Like, is it? It's a third person.
It's a first person shooter.
Oh, okay.
It's still an FPS. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like your standard like Call of Duty,
I
whatever,
feel like I played the
Battlefield.
beta, and you could fly around in the AT and like trip the AT-ATs, but like it's kind of like a ground war amongst.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. With iconic characters and iconic scenes and locations.
Right.
So yeah, it's just your standard shooter, but skinned to Star Wars.
So Battlefield Star
Because I
Wars.
think yeah, I think Dice actually is the developer.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and EA is the publishers. Yeah, so yeah, your standard Battlefield game, but yeah, Star Wars skinned. So imagine playing Battlefield 4 or whatever, but Star Wars.
And so you're
That's
paying.
basically what it
So I'm paying to play as a character in the game, but that character comes with perks that are unavailable to other characters.
Well, you get these things called star cards. I don't know if it works with the hero characters, but like if you
Okay.
have you the first one you could kind of somewhat create your own character, like
Mhm.
kind of, but not really, because you could change the way you look and your armor and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
you would get like abilities through these things called star cards.
Yep.
So what you could do in two, since they changed it, is you could basically buy loot crates to get better star cards right off the bat,
Okay.
and that's what pisses people off. Because for people like I don't know, some people that don't really like they have a job but they don't make that much money to just buy all these loot crates. That's a disadvantage for them
Sure.
from day one because then they're playing against someone that's already got the best gear or whatever, and they get that tactical advantage off the bat. That's not fair for the other person that
Right.
can't do that.
Yep.
So that's what pissed off a lot of people with the whole microtransactions and loot
Mhm.
crates and all that.
Yep.
So obviously they had to backtrack and change that. So that way now I think what they said is I think now it's all earnable through in game. So you level up, you get the credits, you can use those credits to buy the whatever,
And before everyone bitched and moaned, there was no in-game earning credits system.
Well, there was, but
Oh,
you would
okay.
get like 2 credits,
Gotcha. It just was
some
nearly
kind of low. Yeah, it
virtually
was.
impossible to get them.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why it would have taken so long to get a hero, because I think they were like
Is a hero like
45,000.
just a predefined
So like Luke
character that's
Skywalker,
okay?
yeah, so like Skywalker
And you
characters like that,
and if you
like
play
the
as Luke
big names.
Skywalker, you're more powerful than the other characters.
Correct, yeah, because you could
Okay.
kill, just throw your lightsaber, kill a stormtrooper, no problem.
Okay.
You know, yeah, that's it. So people were pissed off at that you could easily earn, the tactical advantage right from day one instead of just okay, whatever the typical Call of Duty grind that everyone goes through, where their
The
prestige,
prestige, prestige, prestige. Well, yeah,
yeah,
because
yeah,
like I feel like most of the time, I mean,
start the game
I
prestige
haven't
one,
played Call of Duty in forever, but I feel like the crates that I was getting, it was all aesthetic stuff. Like it was,
Mhm.
different pants or attachments for weapons, not necessarily
Yeah.
better weapons. Although maybe, or
Mm.
maybe there were. Honestly, I just don't even remember. It's been so long. And like I always think about like when I played Overwatch a handful of times and like I got a crate and it was dope as hell, but like the
Right.
crates are just like skins.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, it's like a double-edged sword. From the outside, you're like, that's kind of dumb to be mad about. Like, it's just like a skin or whatever. But
Right.
as a competitive or fan of the game, then you want to have that advantage yourself too. But if you can't, then you're like, this is bullshit. That's unfair. I don't want to play.
Yeah, I don't
You
want to play
know,
if you can literally buy me out of the game.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
That
my
is
point.
kind of bullshit for you to. You get the game, you're like, sweet, I'm gonna play with my friends, and they're like prestige one because they spent like $100 or whatever, on the best loot crates, and you're like, well, I don't have the money to do that, so now, I can't really play with you because it's not fair for me, you know, because they're stealing all the kills, and you're sitting here getting like one kill a game.
Hmm.
So I can see both sides, but I don't know. Like EA as a company is just, ugh, just I don't know. I don't get the thought process they have where they're just like, let's do this for the game, and then you know they think it's fair for the consumer when it's not fair for the
Right, right.
consumer because you
Interesting.
spend $60 a game already anyways.
Right, and that's
So
that's the thing. I think what's also interesting is this I think I don't know if it re-sparked the debate or it has at least sparked a debate that's been kind of ongoing about um like in-game loot boxes and stuff being treated as
gambling,
gambling. And
mm-hmm.
like if you ask me the question, do I think loot crates are gambling? I say
To an
no.
extent,
I
I think
see
to an extent,
I
well, because
I
it is kind of a gamble because you're not guaranteed what you're gonna get.
but
So
you're
it's a
getting
gamble to
but
get
you're
that loot
getting
crate.
something. You get something.
Yeah, yeah,
Like that's the
right.
thing.
But I mean,
Like
half the time is like,
like and you're like you're talking to somebody who buys lottery tickets on the daily. Like to me, I don't look at it as gambling because like when I buy a lottery ticket, I'm not guaranteed to win anything, right? Like I'm going to scratch off those numbers and I'm probably going to lose most of the time. Whereas every time I buy a loot
right.
crate in any of these games, I'm getting something. It may not be what I want, but I'm getting something.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
That's fair.
based on the way that the I guess the economy works in most of these games,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you're paying for, I should say.
Is what you
Um,
get. Yeah.
well, no, it's
Mm-hmm.
just like they've developed like what the base is, right? So your standard items, and then it's like, ooh, I've got rare, and I've got exotic, and I've got legendary, and it's like, so I have a chance at getting some cool stuff,
Chance.
but like you have to accept the reality that most of the time you're gonna get boring stuff. And I think about it the way that I think about how I used to play Counter Strike, and I would earn
Mm-hmm.
crates, but you couldn't open the
Ah.
crates, right? I
Mm-hmm.
had to buy the key to open the crate, or you get the keys, but you have to buy the crates. It's one or the other. I don't remember exactly because I really I think
Something like
I only bought like two or three crates, but like the crates were like $3.
that. Mm-hmm.
The thing with CS:GO is that I think or just Steam games in general, I suppose that the Steam economy, I think it would be a little more questionable because the things you are buying on Steam have a dollar amount, right? Like I can
Mm-hmm.
literally
It's
win
true.
some skin for a gun in CS:GO and it will be like this Steam sells on average for $52. Like I mean, and then you watch these kids playing the online wager things, which that to me that is one, it's external from Steam, though Steam has they're allowing their API to be used, so like they're kind of complicit in this, but um
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like we've talked about it before, or maybe I've seen I watched a couple of YouTube videos about this. Like, if I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
a website that's linked to Steam's API and I'm putting up my things that have a dollar amount attached to them,
Right.
and I'm
Mm-hmm.
playing against somebody else for a dollar amount, and one of us wins or loses, that to me is gambling. Because I am risking
It's true.
losing these
Yeah.
things as opposed to paying $3 to
Paying
definitely
three
get
bucks. Yeah.
stuff.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay.
And
No, no,
and
no,
I
I
guess
get you. I
and
get. I get
there was the whole controversy because there was that one CS:GO player who like
you. Mm-hmm.
didn't really disclose that he like owned the gambling company that he was using.
Uh,
Like
uh,
he was using so and again, it's one of those things like I don't remember the names or the website, but I'm sure if you spend like any time googling CS:GO stuff, you'll probably
Googling.
find it.
Yeah. You find it.
And
Yeah.
so like he was doing the like uh gambling betting things where he's like betting against people, but like he like then went to a different page and like basically like it looked very apparent that he had the ability to kind of predict the outcome
Change.
of
Ah.
his plays, and one that's basically like rigging your own system to win. And
Yep.
granted, he didn't always win, but like it just
Hmm.
kind of it puts a bad taste in your mouth because like people are playing against him or want to play against him, and like basically they're just giving him his money, you know,
Yep.
or
Yep. Sure.
giving him their money. I'm
Their
missing my
money.
words.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
She's
and so
essentially
like
somewhat kind of stealing.
yeah, and like Philip DeFranco had done a bunch of YouTube videos on it, and like he ended up like making a YouTube apology video and being like, I should have disclosed my business, and then he didn't, but he kind of did, and fuck, I can't remember
Mm.
what his name is, but I know he lived in like Florida. Because there was all this like stuff about like LLC, and he was in business with this pro player, and like why weren't these pro players talking about it and
Well,
announcing that like and which is um it's weird
which, I
like
mean, you don't be
it's
called out,
weird
so
it's weird in 2017 that like disclosing these types of things is now way more of a thing than I think it ever really was. Like even a few years ago, like you know websites like Polygon, Kotaku, whatever, like all these other gaming websites would put like at the end editor's note, like we received this game to review it, like but it didn't affect our
Mhm.
review, but we did get the game for free, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like being completely transparent, even though this isn't super transparent, like I've gotten games for free to
Mhm.
review and I've reviewed them and I never actually put that because in my head it never like it was never a thing that I was thinking about.
Right.
Or and like then like recently like the FTC has been like tweeting and posting about like influencers and social media people and like how you have to do like hashtag ad, hashtag sponsored
Yep.
because they are providing you this stuff. And a couple people
Mhm.
brought up like good arguments that were like, but if I'm a journalist and I'm being given this to like play and write a review, if I have to then put ad or sponsored, like it implies that there is a bias because I'm being paid to do this when I'm not really being paid. I'm just being given a copy of the game.
Correct. Yep.
And that's like we kind of started on one thing about loot crates and
Oh no,
microtransactions
that's fine.
and ended
It's
up over
still
here.
it still works.
But like that would like that in my head, that's the problem is like the whole conversation about microtransactions I think encompasses all of these things because they're all related in a way. Um,
Yep.
And so, and it's just kind of like how far into it are we going, and how far into it are these game companies going? And I think you're
Right.
right. I think EA is probably the worst offender when it comes to microtransactions in your video games, because I can even remember
Mm.
FIFA coins or whatever the hell the currency was being a thing like
Yeah.
when I was playing FIFA on the fucking Nintendo Wii.
Oh damn.
So
Wow.
it's
Yeah,
I
and
don't know if it
that's
really was. I feel like I remember seeing like FIFA coins.
I'm sure there's something, yeah.
Um,
And the worst part is some of these games are marketed towards children, like
right.
or like teens, and they don't know any better. They're like, oh, whatever. It's like $5. Hey, mom, let me get this. Okay, sure, whatever, Timmy. And then they see their credit card, like you spent $100 on this, like whatever. So then it's
Yeah, it's a
it's
lot.
bad.
It's a lot.
It's very bad.
I mean,
Yeah.
so I had a conversation with a friend who works for um, a developer whose name remains
Mhm.
nameless as well as the developer, and they said that they had a person who like complained to the company because they
Mhm.
had dropped thousands on
My
a mobile game,
goodness.
thousands of dollars on a mobile game.
Whoa.
Yeah. And
Wow.
they weren't looking for their money back. They just felt
Mhm.
like they had paid this money and didn't totally get what they thought they should get. The
Mhm.
problem was is had they read the whole thing, they would have realized what they were buying into and they basically just kind of threw away a lot of money. But like to me that's so crazy that
Jeez.
like I'm not saying I would never let it get that bad, but I don't think I could ever fathom spending that much money. Like when I see kids playing CS:GO, because I used to watch a lot of streams
Mhm.
of like CS:GO players, and like when I would see them be like, "All right, we're opening up crates," and they'd be like, "All right, so if you want me to open up a crate, like throw me $3, and like people would donate $3, so they would open crates or whatever. But they would also just be using their own money, and I'd be like, you just open like 20 crates at $3 a piece, like that's, or however much it was. So like that's a lot of money. Like I don't have that kind
Yeah.
of money.
Yeah.
Like
Right?
I couldn't open up 10 crates. Like I would have to be
No.
like responsible and be like I have to buy food and pay for
Yeah.
gas and
It's like
stuff.
maybe I do one, but even
Uh,
then, like, nope.
and I bought a couple. Like when I bought a couple CS:GO crates, I mean, I think I bought less than 5, and it was because I did. I was like hoping that maybe I'll get some cool skin, maybe I'll get a stat track weapon,
Right.
and like I think I got two
Mhm.
stat track weapons that are worth like 60 cents. But like
Woohoo.
the thing that's weird about Steam is I can literally go into Steam and sell those items and then make a couple
Mm.
bucks, and if I make a couple bucks, I can then buy another crate and see what happens.
That's a
It's
dangerous
dangerous.
system
And
altogether.
like in
Like,
Team Fortress 2, I
mhm.
remember talking to Craig over at Able Gamers. I don't remember what the in-game item was, but I remember him saying it's one of the most expensive things like in the game or in Steam in general, to the point where like
Jeez.
people who get them like immediately their accounts get hacked because people want to hack their account to get the item
To get
and
item, yeah.
like I just remember like being like so shocked that like that's how crazy how much value some of these things can have. But then I sit there and I think about like the different types of karambits, which is the knife
Mhm.
that people get in like in CS:GO, and they'll be like
Go.
$300 or $400 a piece. And I'm like, how? Like
Jeez.
how rare is it in that ecosystem of that game that its
Mhm.
dollar value got attached at that rate?
Right,
And
yeah.
then I
What
also
kind of
think like
system is
and then I also
place?
think like if I threw like $20 into crates in CS:GO and then sold them and got something cool and made my money back, to me that like that that is like kind of gambling in a weird way because it's like I'm spending money to make more money.
To make more
Whereas like
money,
if
yeah.
I'm buying loot crates, I'm just buying loot crates to get items. Like I guess the
Right.
problem is when you allow someone to sell the items or generate
Hmm.
income with the items in a weird way, that's when it gets questionable. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess the unanswered question will be to go all the way back. What
Mhm.
happens when they reinstate in-game purchases
In
in
game,
Battlefront 2? If they
right?
haven't already, I don't know. Um, I just know that they said
Yeah.
they removed them
Mhm.
when the game launched at the beginning of last
Mm,
week. I think it was the 16th.
yeah.
So like
Something like that.
a week
Yeah.
and a half ago. Um,
Mhm.
I'm wondering what the thing will
What it's
be,
gonna
and
be?
I feel
Yeah.
like someone had mentioned to me that Bob Iger, who's like the head of Disney, he had like called EA and basically said like, quit fucking up.
Right. Yeah.
Which is
No,
a
I
whole like
bet
star
because
like which
that's
is a whole like they want to pull Star Wars from EA, which like would be I mean, it would be devastating to EA.
everyone says they should.
I mean, at one point, I always wonder, like, at one point, do you just let another company have it just to see what's just to see like what their take on it would be? But then
Yeah.
I
Well,
think,
I mean, there were gonna be a whole bunch of the takes, but they got pulled.
sure, because like my thing is like I look at that and then I think like, what would it be like if somebody who wasn't Naughty Dog made the Uncharted games or made The Last of Us, right? Like,
True.
if The Last of Us went to
Last of Us by Bungie.
Yeah, The Last of Us by, but even if it just stayed within Sony and it was like Bend did The Last of Us or Sucker Punch or Santa Monica or
Ooh,
San Diego Studio. Well, San Diego Studios technically I guess doesn't exist anymore. It got had a lot of layoffs, but like,
God.
um, like what would that be like? Like what if
Mhm.
fucking like let's put it this way, like what if Media Molecule made the next Last of Us game, right? Like how fucking
Oh,
completely
jeez.
different would that be
Mhm.
versus
Huh.
having Naughty Dog just always make it? So I guess I'd be curious to see
Yeah.
because like and I guess the difference would be that the amount of oversight that Disney probably has on Star Wars IPs on any platform
Hmm.
are probably insane.
Right.
So
So
what would they do?
I imagine. Yeah.
What would they do differently if it goes to somebody other than EA?
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. True. I mean, far as we know, it could have been Disney. It was like, hey, microtransactions. To
Right.
far as we know, but
It's like
Yeah.
maybe they'll reinstate Disney Interactive, or the team
Maybe.
that did Disney Infinity, but they probably won't because they probably got rid of it for a reason.
Yeah. Well, weird reason, even though it was kind of untrue, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, I know. I always thought Disney Infinity was cool. I mean, it was just Disney Skylanders, but
Yeah, they
um,
made decent money, but I guess apparently not enough.
right.
So yeah, so I wonder what's gonna happen to Battlefront then, because I've seen a lot of pictures that people took at like Walmarts and like Targets
Oh yeah,
of
where the
like the
shelves were
cases,
bare, but
and
just
like
Battlefront is
everything's
stocked.
empty, but yes, all Battlefront copies are still there. So, and obviously there's people still gonna buy Battlefront because they love Star Wars.
Right.
So they're like, whatever, I'm not gonna worry about transactions. I love Star Wars. I'm getting it for Star Wars, not
Right. Right. Right.
FEA, whatever, get it
Is
for
there a
Star Wars.
single
So
player mode or is it all online?
apparently it's a fantastic campaign.
Okay.
So yeah, I think Kotaku or something like that, Polygon. They're like, oh yeah, the campaign's amazing. So
Hmm.
if you're gonna get it for that at least.
Right.
So, but
Mm.
I don't know. I'll get it when it's like $20, whatever.
Right.
When the gold or whatever ultra edition is like $10, whatever, like they did with the first game.
Yeah. All the random
So
DLC packages, etc.
yeah.
Well,
So
I mean, it's to me, it's a lot to digest, right? Like, especially because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what conversations are happening behind the scenes, but you kind of just hope that they come out of this on top and make the fans happy. But I don't know, man.
they
I
have to
wonder.
find a positive way. Like there's no way they can't not come out of this shining or finding a way to earn the fans' trust back. They have to find a way. So even if they bring them back, because they're going to, they have to
Yeah.
make
Oh,
money
they're gonna bring it
somehow,
back.
not
There's
just
no
strictly
way.
off game sales. So you know, they have to find some. They're going to find some kind of compromise that says, "Hey, we messed up. We're bringing them back, but we're not going to make them." Uh, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like you don't have to buy the loot crates.
Right. 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 Or they
Yeah,
just
like
have
if you
to. I
want
mean, or
some,
just they just have to change the balance of how fast you earn them and what you get out of them versus what you
yeah.
do if you pay
Like
for them.
just make them earnable in game. Like you can bring the transactions back, but just make loot crates earnable in
Earnable
game,
in
like
game.
every other level, something like that.
Right. Because I
You get
mean,
a loot
isn't that
crate.
how Overwatch is? Like every level, you're definitely guaranteed one, but like every certain amount of wins in a row, you get one too.
Yeah, it's like either every 5 games or like every like 2 to 3 wins or something like that. You'll get a loot crate. So, which is that pushes you to want to do better, which
Right.
is good because you get a
And
reward
the
for
more
it.
you play, ideally, the better you get. So
Yeah, exactly. So they
in a
like
perfect
do
world.
something, do something like that. Like have it where you can buy a loot crate if you want, or the more matches and the better you do, you earn X amount, and then boom, gamers will love you again. But
Maybe.
whatever, I'm not EA. I don't work for EA. You know,
I would if you hired me, but
just saying,
yeah, just saying.
saying.
Hook your boy up.
I'll let people hate me. I don't care. But
Yeah, I'll be your Twitter hype man. Battlefront 2 is the
yeah,
best
all
game
right.
ever. Buy our shit. Um,
Yeah, right. You do it. Yeah.
all right. Well, that's probably
Yeah.
cap it
I
there
mean,
and just be like, cool.
yeah. No, no,
So it's
no.
like, I mean, if
That
you're
was
playing Battlefront 2, let us know what you think. I'm curious.
right.
Because I never
Your
like
thoughts on
I can't remember.
things.
I feel like I played the beta and like was just kind of like cool. So it's
For two.
Star Wars Battlefield, and that was kind of how I
Yeah, I
felt
mean
about it.
it's a fun game. Like I have the first one,
Yeah.
and
I
it's
feel like these
hate
games are
it. Like it's
all
fun.
totally based on how much fun you can have with people you play with.
I mean, for me, that's shoes in general. Like if I'm not playing with friends on a shooter, I typically don't play them. Like I don't just throw on Overwatch for funsies
Right.
unless I like really want to play it.
Yeah.
It's like if you're like, yeah, let's play Overwatch, I'm like, bet down, let's go. But
Yep.
otherwise, I'm like, whatever.
Right. Um.
So
All right. Well, so with that, we'll cap it there and call it a day. You can follow us on Twitter at the DGCast. You can follow me on Twitter at So After I Said. Follow Mike at mtongue1, but don't follow him though. Just tweet him.
Follow me, unfollow me. I don't need your pity follows.
um, and thanks for listening.
Of
Trying to
course,
think if there was anything else I need to
of course,
mention.
like, comment, subscribe
Thumbs
on the
down, thumbs
YouTubes,
up.
Twitter, whatever. You used to be like, sucks, great, whatever. You commented.
Yeah.
That shows us that you listened or you did something.
Right.
You know.
The struggle. Hashtag the struggle. So that's been it for episode 89, part 2 / episode 90. And we will catch you
On the flip.